Name is Maximilian Marvin. I really hope this is recording, but we'll just jump right into the presentation. I did my project on my friend named Michael Torres, and he works at a company called Adams and Wendt. So Michael Torres is 21 years old and works for a company called Adams and Wendt. Adams and Wendt is a company that tests soil for toxic substances and asbestos removal. Michael has worked here for around 2 years and went from a field technician to a project manager through good work and strong ambition. He prides himself on his attention to detail and the ability to work efficiently. His role consisted of managing many teams and many different operators, as he had to give them all briefings on the dangers, applications, and locations where to dig. He had to show these people where to dig to test soil for impurities and toxic chemicals. Overall, he had around 30 plus employees that he may be supervising or and motivating as they work. He made sure that all of his employees would work as safely and as efficiently as possible. As he worked, he had to travel to different locations in Arizona, including Tucson, Native American reservations, and Flagstaff. While working on these different job sites, he had to manage people on where to dig, as well as removing asbestos. So that was basically Michael's role. On to some of the theories that Michael uses during his management and leadership. He uses the scientific management theory, and the scientific management theory basically describes the study of work of methods to improving the productivity of individual workers. And this was first created by Frederick W. Taylor and the team of Frank and Lillian Gilbreth. So he ensured that all the information that he was given was correct, so that there would never be any redos or miscommunication. He really prided himself of trying to make his employees work as efficiently as possible and as easily as possible. Furthermore, he made his workers more efficient by having a very, very orderly schedule. By planning everything far in advance and in detail, his workers were able to work more efficiently. This also gave his workers expectations on what needed to be completed by the end of the day. So overall, this led to an environment where his employees could work even more efficiently. Now on to his greatest career achievement. Michael's greatest career achievement was the first project that he was given as project manager. This is because it was a very high important and high level job that he was given. There was a toxic chemical spill on the highway in Arizona. He and his team were tasked with removing this toxic substance and testing the soil for residual toxicity. There were many moving parts, and he was able to perform under a high stress environment and kept not only the public safe, but also his team safe doing it. So he really strides himself that he was able to keep everyone safe from this toxic spill and overall was able to perform very well during it. Now, onto some of the skills that he used during his greatest career achievement. He said that he always listens for input from the abatement crew, as well as the representatives from other companies, and always used listening. However, when it comes to empathy, he doesn't really control the abatement's crew's hours, so he was not given the opportunity to show them empathy and leeway in their work hours in that aspect. Now, for healing, he said that it was never really used during his operations. And in terms of awareness, he made sure that he and his team were always aware of the dangers and the substance that they were dealing with and the procedures on how to handle them. In terms of persuasion, there was not a lot of use of this as he was tasked in giving only facts in his operations. He often used foresight as he planned things far in advance. And then he always used stewardship as this was a job to make sure that the projects ran smoothly. And then commitment, he used commitment to the growth of people was rarely used because although he was supervising and managing the teams, they weren't a part of the company. He just supervised, managed them, and told them how to handle these situations. Now, on to handling a challenge. Actually, his greatest challenge was during a project he was given to manage over. It was at the Mayo Clinic. He said it was the most taxing project as it had the most moving parts and the most employees to cover, around over 35 employees that he managed over and supervised. He was supervising as well as in the partnership with all the other workers on the job site. During this job site, he was removing asbestos and mold remediation. And so just the mixture of dealing with asbestos, keeping all of his employees safe, and as well as working with almost 35 or over 35 people. He said this was very taxing and the most challenging thing that he did. However, some of the things that he did to really remediate the stress on this high level operation, he said that he kept logs every single day, as well as the procedures were very strict, was very strict and very tight. This was in order for no one to be exposed with asbestos. He also shared his logs to all the partners so they were certain that his team was not missing any spots and that everyone was on the same page. However, overall, having good communication with his team and his higher ups was a key factor in having good organization throughout the job site. Excuse me. Sorry. Now on to some of the skills that he used while handling this challenge. He said that listening and awareness was used the most while handling his challenge. And this is because he was dealing with toxic substances and needed to listen carefully to his instructions and plan accordingly. However, similarly to the skills he used for his greatest achievement, healing and empathy were never or rarely used. This is because he treated his workers well and could not have given them any benefits as he was from a different company. Now on to power base and some of the behaviors. Michael uses his managerial use of power bases, such as the expert power as his power base. This is because he was an expert during the operations, as he knew the most about how to handle and deal with toxic substances. Not only that, but he also had the most information and locations and the best methods of removing these substances. So that's why he used expert power as his power base. Now, a leader comparison is Jack Welch. Jack Welch is the CEO of General Electric and owned the company from 1981 to 2001. Jack set clear expectations, just like Michael in their leadership styles. They both planned ahead and made sure everyone was on the same page. However, the difference between these two is that Jack Welch gave his employees performance-based results. This means that if his employees were doing well, he would reward them to incentivize them to keep working hard and showing others that good work gets good rewards. Now onto the entrepreneurial mindset. Likert scale scored mostly in the fours. Based off my discussion with Michael Torres, he used the entrepreneurial mindset a lot during his management role. He scored, like I said, mostly fours, as he was often using these skills. However, he prioritized autonomy for automating processes and make his and teams way more efficient. Now on to the entrepreneur mindset on achieving missions, vision, and strategy. Having an entrepreneur mindset can greatly help and achieve a company's mission, vision, and strategy. This is because the skills that an entrepreneur may have trickles down in every department of every job. Furthermore, everyone is their own boss, and believing that they can achieve more and increasingly innovate can help a company grow. Therefore, an entrepreneur mindset can be super effective. Now, some of the leadership lessons that I got out of this while talking to Michael, it seemed like there were three characteristics that a leader should demonstrate in order to be successful. The first being having a power base, whichever one a leader may have, or in the case of Michael, expert power. He was able to greatly influence his team. Furthermore, communication is extremely important in order to be successful as a leader. It can make a whole team way more efficient, setting clear expectations and clear goals so each team member knows exactly what they'll be doing. And they can strive towards those goals even better. Finally, teamwork is the last thing that makes a good leader. This is because the leader should not only lead and be above everyone, but also work and make sure everyone is a part of the team. This will overall keep the morale high during the workplace, as well as being more effective while working as a team. Now, reflection on the interview and the research process. The reason why I chose Michael Torres in the first place is because this is someone I know very personally. I knew that he could do this interview on a short notice. but I also chose him last second because the original person I was supposed to interview unfortunately canceled last second. And although that sucked, I was able to interview Michael instead, and it overall was an amazing interview. And the interview went well, and I learned a lot from his experience. However, sometimes when he did not answer questions specifically enough, I would have to ask another question that was more detailed in order to get the result that I wanted. However, in the end, this project was very fun. I learned a lot on how important communication is and what it takes to be a good leader. These are my reference slides, and this is my appendix. Thank you.